Alright guys, this is Zev here bringing you another comparison video between some phones. So yeah, Android phones anyway. So what I have over here is the Motorola RAZR, followed by the Xperia S by Sony, and then the HTC Sensation XE, and the Sony Ericsson Xperia Arc S. Quite a mouthful there, but that's not as long as the Mini Pro, so I'm just gonna give these two a hit start. Okay, that's a vibration from here. And finally these two.
Using traditional methods, husky dogs, sledge and skis.
Yes, and I'm going to try and beat him in a car. Now that's never been done before. No one has ever tried to drive to the North Pole.
And here's why. On the way he would encounter ice boulders as big as cathedrals, polar bears the size of hatchbacks, temperatures that would freeze the fuel in his tank, and if Al Gore is to be believed,
And the Xperia S is done with that. One thing to note though, the Sensation XE's battery has been removed and then placed back in again prior to this boot up speed test. Now we're waiting on the RAZR. So anyway, if the battery hadn't been taken out, when you turn the phone off, what actually happens is that the Sensation XE will go into a deep sleep mode rather than a true shutdown. So when you try to turn it back on again, it will be remarkably fast, taking only just a few seconds or so. So yeah, I can demonstrate that over here, so we'll just turn it off.
They can go through cold, they can go through blizzard. I have a lead dog that can find the hard-packed.
Now we just wait for the lights over here to go off, but I'm just gonna go into what we're gonna do with these all these four phones over here. Location doesn't exist, but am I connected? Yeah. Okay, I've got Wi-Fi over here, which is a good thing. No, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, quadrants over there, and this is how it boots up. Now when I let it go, and that's it. It just boots up in well under 5 seconds. That's just nuts. Deep sleep is a good idea. I wish more manufacturers will actually implement that. That is very, very good. Alright, next page. Okay, quadrant, 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 and finally quadrant. I'm just gonna, okay, I'm not gonna start all of them at one shot because that's gonna be a pointless thing to do anyway, so. Alright, so yes, 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 and yes. So, okay. The RAZR scored 2,233 points. The Xperia S scored 3,105 points. The Sensation XE scored 2,517 points. And the Arc S hasn't yet to connect to the network.
He can't be, but we've nearly missed entire programs because he's sometimes Top Gear is, and I'm not joking now, delayed by an hour. No, I get the run.
Oh well, whatever. The Xperia Arc S is supposed to be capable of scoring about, okay. So it scored 1,457 points, which sounds just about right. It should be able to hit about 1,550 at its tops. So okay, so let's exit, 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 and exit. I really don't like it now that the router has actually been moved out of my room. It's so far, and it's been blocked by 3 layers of walls, that my network connection isn't always the best here in this room. Okay, so next up will be Nenamark. Oh wait, this one is still over here. This one's on the previous page, this one is still over here, and this one will be on the previous page. Or was it? No, I missed that completely. I'm blind or something. Alright, so here, here, Nenamark, and one more Nenamark. Alright, so let's go.
Don't worry about him. He needs to go a bit more downhill or level his skis out. Go downhill or slip! James wasn't much better. Please put them on. Yeah, I'm coming down here to put them on, otherwise I'll just fall over it. Well, it's the same rules as there. Push off, and then to stop, just kick the arse out of the skis when you hit them. Yes, don't cross them. Oh, thanks, I'm back!
RAZR 27.5, XS with 37.2. Okay, I missed that completely, but publish, 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 and publish. So, okay, the RAZR scored last run 27.5 frames a second. The Xperia S scored 37.2 frames a second. The Sensation XE scored 27.2 frames a second, and the Xperia RS scored 25.8 frames a second, which is not bad considering that it's of an older architecture, keeping up pretty well with both the Sensation XE and the Motorola RAZR. Now, if I remember correctly, the ARC didn't score that well when it comes to Gingerbread, so the optimizations with ice cream sandwich for the rest of the tree is going to be something to look forward to, especially with the Xperia S. Now, okay, so let's back, 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 and finally, page 1. See down here, and finally on 2-2 and 2-2, 2-2 and 2-2. Now this isn't a race to actually see which one will finish first, so I'm just gonna go test, 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 and start, 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 start. We have the RAZR and the Xperia RS leading the pack, followed closely by both the Xperia S and the Sensation XE.
Right, in your own time, I want all three of you to jump in. What's the problem?
Well, hang on. So at the pool, we'll all three be standing in a line with safety harnesses on, holding poles when we fall in the water. It's a silly test, I'm not doing it.
And actually, to be honest, the whole point of this is that you have to be able to take your clothes off and put more clothes on again very quickly. And I've practiced that in my hotel room.
What is it when you've got like a tingling down your arm and chest pain? It's got it.
And the RAZR is leading the pack. And I'm running out of recording time because my camera's time limit is 10 minutes, and so we'll continue this in and okay, continuing on from just now.
Were not impressed with that theory and decided we needed our heads banging together. So they drafted in the legendary Arctic explorer, Sir Ranulph Fiennes.
The problem we have is that we can't really get into our heads that this is a particularly dangerous place to go. But you think it is?
No, I don't think it is. I know that it can be because of what's happened to me in that area over the last 36 years. You will have the polar bear problem, you will have the ignorance problem, because you lot are apparently ignorant. And thirdly, the fact that you will all start hating each other because of the extreme cold having an effect. The hatred is very real. You don't want to laugh about it, which I think you lot seem to be doing.
Then we moved on to frostbite, and Ranulph showed us what had happened to his hand after it had been immersed in polar water for just a few moments.
And you know what, since this last part has no graphics going for it, I'm just going to stop the video right now and continue in a bit. Okay, continuing where we left off, the RAZR, the XS and the XRS have all finished and we're waiting for the Sensation XE. Okay, so the RAZR scored 6,144 points, the XS scored 6,624 points, and the RS scored 3,466 points. Now this one's just done and it scored 4,645 points. You'd wonder what a big difference is, but okay. So what we can see over here is that the internal memory speeds for the Sensation XE is actually a whole lot slower compared to these other two. And well, since I'm only left with about 4 gigabytes of space or so on my Xperia S, the internal memory speeds slow down a little, but this one still has a lot of empty space in it. This is literally new when I got it. This is still new as well. This one is almost empty, and this one is relying on an external SD card, which is, despite being class 4, is still faster than the one inside the Sensation XE. Wow, that's a low blow. That kind of hurts. But all in all, yeah, I guess there's nothing much to it left anymore. I've done Quadrant, I've done Nanamark, I've done Antutu right now, and guess, well, nothing much else. Only the battery test hasn't been done for this. Speaking of battery tests, 311 points, 466 points, and 408 points over there. And I guess that wraps up this video. Thanks for watching.